Welcome back. Let's stress less on a Tuesday. Apparently, it's all about learning to be kind of your own advocate. Stop criticizing yourself so much. Dr. Aziz Gazipur joins us once again. We always love catching up with you,
Absolutely.
Dr. Aziz, because you have good advice for us. And I think all of us can think of some of the self-talk we do. You blew that. You're not good enough. Why do we do this so much?
That's a great question. And what's fascinating is I've talked to thousands of people, and it seems pretty universal. It seems like everyone's got some critic in there that is pretty constantly judging, evaluating what they're doing. And I think a lot of it comes from when we're young, being socialized, like what's going to work in this environment, whether it's homeschool, anywhere else. And we kind of take that voice in, and then it just stays with us for the rest of our lives.
Our insecurities acting up, taking over.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe when we're young, we make that misstep and we have that feeling of not measuring up, and then it stays with us into adulthood?
Absolutely, and I would say it might not even be a misstep. It might actually be an accurate understanding of what we're receiving. Because if you watch, a lot of the time, it's a lot of like, why did you do that? Don't do that, that's not good. Funny story, we were just camping recently at Cape Lookout. And we go to the beach, and we have two little kids, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they get naked when they run into the water, because that's what little kids do. And then we're walking back to our camp, and it's a 3-year-old that's naked, and we got a lot of people whispering. We even had some people come up to us and like tell us that he shouldn't be naked.
Wow.
And
really?
so we were okay with it. We're like, oh, he's fine. But imagine if he had parents who were like, that's bad, don't do that.
No more.
You know, and it could be in any scenario. And we take that information in. Now for the rest of our lives, we're like, oh, people can't see my body, or people can't hear me say that sort of thing.
So how do we go about being on our own side? What's the first step to stopping that negative self-talk?
Sure. I mean, a lot of people maybe say, okay, I need to do affirmations or say something better to myself, and those can be helpful. I think the most important thing, though, to start with is to actually make a decision. I mean, as cheesy as that sounds, to actually say, wait a minute, I don't want to continue to criticize and treat myself that way. I want to be on my own side. And once we get clear that that's actually a valuable thing to do, and it really is. There's interesting research about this. We think that we got to be hard on ourselves to get ahead or be better. It's actually the opposite. The more compassionate and kind and supportive you are with yourself, the better you perform, the more risks you can take, the more relaxed you are socially and more confident you are. So if we really decide this is good for me and for everyone around me, then that starts the process of getting on our own side.
How about a loved one? You know, if you're married to someone or if your kids, you see them, you know, with this sort of critical view of themselves. Is there a way to repair that, or does it have to come from within that individual?
Ultimately, I think it has to come from within. However, we can help support them. Usually we tell them, hey, go easy on yourself, you'll be fine. It doesn't really work, right? They say, oh, thanks. What really is helpful actually is curiosity. Oh, wow. So you don't like that about yourself. Tell me more. Why not? Where did you learn that was not okay? And you get really curious and want to explore with them, because that's part of it too, is people beat themselves up and then we feel ashamed or embarrassed about how much we're doing it.
But then we'd be doing your job as a therapist.
Well,
That old curious thing.
Practical psychology, especially with your kids and your family. And that's
Absolutely.
What
That's good advice.
Now, do you feel that people who do a lot of negative self-talk end up kind of putting that out on other people as well, judging other people, or is there no kind of correlation there?
Oh, absolutely, there's a correlation. And that judging kind of critical voice is sort of indiscriminate. It will judge you, and then the next sentence it will judge those other people. And I think we can get hung up on like, I got to stop that. I got to stop the criticism myself, and I shouldn't judge other people. And then we start judging ourselves for judging other people. Get into some sort of
It's kind of a bad cycle there.
Yeah, it's like an infinite loop of insanity.
And I can't let this go. When you were confronted by those other parents regarding the issue with your children, how did you react?
It was funny, it was great. So a woman came by, she was walking her dog, her poodle, and she said, this is like a nudist colony around here.
You said, welcome.
And I said, and could we gotten a lot of just comments like that? So I said, oh, could be. And she said, he was like that yesterday. And I said, yeah, he was.
You're right.
But I wasn't going to go there. But then she took it one step further and she said, you should think about other people. And I said, oh, does it upset you that he's naked? She said, yes, it does. And I said, oh, well, I'd love to talk about it. Tell me more. Do you want to share? I'm curious to know why. And then she like hastily walked off.
Yeah.
With her dog. She's like, oh, I don't actually want to talk
You
about
were
it.
ready to take her in for a full session. Dr.
Where did you first
Aziz,
learn that?
always entertaining and helpful to speak with you. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Coming up.